Our biggest problem today in the Arab world is the non-state players that are basically in charge of several countries, and I will specifically talk about Syria and Yemen. In Yemen today, journalists are operating under three different types of rule. You have the Houthis, you have Al-Qaeda, which is in control of a big chunk of the country, and you also have the elected president and his loyalists. This makes it very difficult because there's huge score settling between everybody. There's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of propaganda, and everybody is basically targeting the journalists. If you go to Syria, Syrians today as journalists are either forced to stay in their hometowns under the president, or they basically have to work under the temporary government, or they have to work under ISIS-controlled and Jabhat al-Nusra controlled areas. So how are journalists coping? We in ARIJ are telling them now, to stay away of, investigating any real issues that will get them in danger, because safety is more important. But we are also telling them that they are right now in the middle of an ongoing war, and the best they can do is start their own archives and start documentation, because they are witnesses to all the atrocities that are happening. So, if they start collecting data now and the facts, then they can work on it when the right time is there. So we don't want to endanger them. The second biggest threat is the position of the governments as well, through what we call now new anti-terror laws. In Jordan, for example, any person that expresses an opinion that goes against the state can automatically be seen as a terrorist, and he will be tried in front of the state security court. People have been interrogated just because they have shared something that the government didn't like. Internet is now being censored, not just in Jordan, across the region. Yesterday in Saudi, they arrested 25 people for tweeting against or just criticizing. You've seen what happened to this Saudi man who wanted to have a free debate on religion. He's been condemned to lashes. So unfortunately, as I said, all the governments around the world, with the exception of the Nordic countries, have cracked down on media. The indexes of the past 5 years are testimony to that, but the worst crackdown has happened in the region. So as I said, it's a combination of political uncertainty, it's a combination of governments that are using the sentiments of worried people about their future, worried about, ending up as refugees, ending up in broken countries. So under the name of fear, people are being cowed in, they're accepting it. The journalists today are treated as enemies of the state, enemies of society. And this is also a worrying development. The last thing is that the chief editors, instead of supporting these journalists, often end up backing the governments against their own staff. And how can we help them? We're trying now to give them cyber safety security, because we know that all the internet communications are not safe. So we at least want to give the best protection we can to them and to the whistleblowers and the sources. We're also running special courses on how to protect your physical security in conflict areas. We are basically teaching them new tools on how to use their mobiles to produce multimedia content. We are also teaching them how to be professional when they confront the culprits, that they should go to the culprits and take with them 2 colleagues. They should never do that on their own. And it's just through good journalism that you protect yourself. It doesn't mean that you will not be taken to court. This is part of our job, to go to court, but to go to court with the right evidence and documents and come out, at least without being indicted.